Yes. It's that time. It's that time again. Distorted Reality Podcast. Where Distorted Nation Radio beats Reality Check TV. With your hosts, CKore from Distorted Nation Radio and hellrzzr from Reality Check TV. With your Kevlar-coated comments, it's time to distort your reality.
Listen to that smooth beat.
I don't like the smell of it. Well, I'm just checking my stress.
Is it like cocaine lotion or something?
It's stress check, kind hands. And you know, I did this last week to you, and I forgot what it smelled like, and it's...
that stuff. That wasn't last week. That was a few weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago with some eucalyptus stuff.
You were going to say illicit.
illicit stuff. Stress check.
Yeah.
So it's good to be here. It's a Tuesday. No, it's it's Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. And normally we
it's Taco Tuesday, but there's no tacos.
We had homemade soup because we're trying to be healthy, and I just needed to, have some veggies in my life, and so I just always put it in a big pot, and there was a bunch of stuff in there, and I'm glad you made it up. So it's been a good week. But, it's like, I don't know what to say. I just had a really difficult, interesting, not fun, but my day at work, I had a bunch of whiners today. And
call the ambulance.
And I had this one, I'll tell you what, I had this one guy, and, the only thing that saved him was
his name Steve?
His name wasn't Steve. His name was Daryl.
No, I was going to say don't give out his name, because if people that you work with know this.
No, he was a caller.
You should just let me guess his name.
Okay. Well, his
name was Phil.
Actually, his name wasn't Phil. His name was Bart. Okay, it really was Bart. I just remembered, and he
Bartholomew.
He had a deep voice, and I think that's what he's used through his life.
Deep voice.
I feel like that's what his mantra was. I sound attractive over the phone, and I have this deep voice, but he really was not that smart, and he relies on other people to do his stuff. And he even said his boss was gonna help him do this thing, and I'm like, Bart, you need to
do it yourself. Do your own goddamn job.
Well, yeah, because he's trying to be a supervisor, and he's trying to apply to be a supervisor, and I'm thinking, you
too stupid.
Right. And I'm texting my coworker.
Hey, be a buddy, not a bully.
Right, I'm bullying him right now, right? But it frustrated me because it sucked the life out of me, and I just had to get through it. But I was actually, I was on point with my smartness today. So I was able to give the directions without getting mad at this misogynistic man that's used his voice probably.
Now, little lady.
And he wanted to get his boss involved. And I think he's always had a secretary. I think he's single, but then if he does have a wife, she probably does everything for him. And I
puts his clothes out to what to wear tomorrow.
Lays his stuff out, makes decisions for him. And I think that's good in one sense.
Does she wipe his ass too?
No, Corey, I think you can be a caregiver, and you can be a lover, and you can be a helpmate, but don't depend on it. Make some choices on your own, right? Make some decisions.
Learn how to, take care of yourself.
Right. And I know we can always
be independent.
We jump into these conversations,
Not a dependent or a codependent.
Well, and that's one of our on-flavoring topics, and we're going to jump into that in a second. But I want to read the poster that you say I never read.
Yes. Okay, so we need to do something about this. So we've done how many episodes? This is like 10 or 11.
This is number 10.
This is number 10. We've done 10. Okay.
Well, we're doing 10 right now.
And literally every episode she has had these little damn
I think number one I said I did.
But she's never read it. I don't think.
One time, the first one I think I did.
If you listen to all these shows,
go back and look.
And you find out and message me on Facebook which one she read, I'll give you $30.
Ooh, $30. Okay,
yes.
Real bucks or like McDonald's
Real bucks.
It's Monopoly money.
It's real dollars. Mucho dinero.
Of course, the dinero's not worth anything anymore, but we will give you the money, okay?
Find out what it says, message me, and tell me what episode and what timestamp it was said at on
work for it.
The YouTube. channel.
No,
yes.
that would be great. So today's message is be a buddy, not a bully. Okay, and
now there's a difference between being a bully, I think, and being what's what I'm looking for, like a terrorist, you know,
right?
Like a terrorizer.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. And then there's also,
sometimes people need to tell the truth, like be a carefronting, right?
They need to be, pushed a little bit, and hey, quit sucking ass and actually do your damn job.
Exactly. Phillip. So I have to just a second.
What are you doing? You're adjusting. You don't like the pillow?
It's just too much. It's not working out. It's not really. It's kind of bumpy.
You don't like your booster seat?
Right. That's right. We're trying to get. We have really hard chairs, and so it's just we're trying to.
We have hard jobs.
We do, and so we sit and.
We like our tuchus, and we want to treat it nice.
Yeah.
You want to try this one? I'm okay if I don't have one. You want to try this one?
No, you've already sat. It's not cold anymore. Now it's all hot and sweaty. It's been.
Wow. So from now on, she's gonna read these little signs because she paid money for all these little freaking signs. You would see it like some coffee shop or something.
Yeah.
And like a hipster coffee shop. And maybe she'll take a picture every episode now and post that on the Instagram of what the daily or the showly, we're gonna call it the showly because it's not daily. We do the show whenever we do the show.
Yeah.
It'll be the showly mantra.
Okay.
How about that?
This sounds week's good. I don't
mantra:
have a pen.
be a bully or be a buddy, not a bully.
Okay. So another thing is I want to keep track of stuff, and I was really going to be responsible this time and actually.
And then she forgot her pen.
I don't have a pen. Maybe I'll just pull up a Word doc.
I can't do my SATs, sir. I forgot a pencil.
I don't have anything to I don't know what's been happening to my pens lately. Cameraman, producer Kev says he didn't take my pencil from my desk, but I can't find it.
It was the pencil goblins.
Last night I was journaling. Do you ever journal?
No. I mean, I have before in the past, but no.
Okay. So I've been journaling pretty consistently. I didn't journal for a few days, but I'll go read back and.
But your whole life is a journal with your Talks with Shell and all the video stuff you do.
I'm so glad you brought Talks with Shell up. I just want to say that I am on day 8 of my 100-day challenge. I accomplished my 30-day challenge, and I reset it.
Why don't you just make it an addition? It's your 38th day in the 100-day challenge.
No.
Why are you starting over?
Because first it was a 30-day challenge. It was to see if I could accomplish that. Because remember last time we talked, I could barely make it through 2 weeks, and you said where we were at with it. I said I'm actually on day 24 or something like that. And you're like, see, you accomplished stuff. You were building me up, right? So once I accomplished that on January 30th, I got my 30 days, and then.
Did you get a chip?
I didn't.
Like a Dorito?
But I have
or
a couple
potato?
of people that follow me that were proud of me, so that made it worth it. And so then on the 31st.
Well, I'm proud of you. I just don't follow you.
I know. I wish you would, because I'm going to start talking about it now on my little walks.
I like to go from point A to point B and not get lost along the way, so I'm not going to follow you. I'm sorry.
You have a different type of job than I do.
I'm in a truck all day.
And you're hauling stuff, and you're using your physical body.
And we're also doing the radio show or, Hellrzzr Clothing, I don't have time to be on a computer or laptop all the time or my phone just to watch stuff at my leisure.
Right. I have to sit up. Let's see.
And I'll be honest, I mean, if I'm going to be watching something at my leisure,
it's not going to be me.
It's probably going to be OnlyFans or something.
Right.
Just saying.
So one of my videos I did, it was just a quick reel. I realized that when you do these kind of things, when you want attention, and we'll start doing that if we want to ever advertise our show in a better way. When you do it like a 30 or 40 second reel, that gets more algorithms than if I did a 5 or 6 minute video. I noticed.
And because it's just quick. You're getting all the quick puns. You're getting the best little potatoes and niblets.
And then how you hashtag it. So I've been hashtagging my stuff, and so I got 1,000 views.
You gotta let me know what your hashtags are, because I could probably help you out with that.
I'm just doing hashtag 30-day challenge, and now I'm doing hashtag 100-day challenge, and
so many
hashtag reels of Instagram. They're just boring ones, but they liked I got on all fours and I did the little stretchings, in a quick time lapse thing. So that got some views. I got 1,000 people thinking that was awesome.
Might have been because of the boobs were bouncing.
When I was jump roping, in my garage, and I did not have a support bra on. It was just over my shoulder and in my
Are you
armpit.
talking about posting on your Instagram or your OnlyFans?
And this is on my Facebook, Talks with Shell. So, so that's enough about that.
You should charge people for that part.
But one thing I do every episode of my little thing, because I do something every day, when I do a video, I advertise Distorted Nation Radio, I advertise Distorted Reality Podcast, Reality Check TV NorCal, and Hellrzzr Clothing, Hellrzzr Nation. And so that's kind of like every time, so it's hopefully a good cross promotion. And shout outs to Stevie right now. He's quiet right now. And
last time I checked, he's dealing with a sinus infection or something.
He had a sinus.
Sick.
He's doing better from that. And I asked if he could just increase maybe some nutrition. I said, could you drink some nutrition? And so he responded. He goes, when I get up today, I'm going to have pork chops and apples. And I'm like, okay.
His idea of healthy is just wow.
So I'm like, okay. So you shout outs to Stevie. I hope that you had some apples today, and I hope that you're doing better.
An apple a day will keep the doctor away.
That's right.
But not with pork chops.
So
anyway, that should be apple-sauce with pork chops.
That's right. Just like the Brady Bunch.
Right. Every week we talk about this ongoing saga with CKore's truck. And so this week, what was it? I know you've had lots of, and so this week, what was your
water
issue?
pump.
Water pump. Okay, so
literally the little fan on the water pump broke off.
Okay.
Like it was still like around the needle part where it should be, but it wasn't attached. So Monday I was completely not working for most of the day. It was lame.
Did you tell me how, just for the people that are not familiar with last episode, when you the tire blew or you got
that was in my car.
Yeah,
this
that was
is
your
my
car.
work truck.
Okay, so we bounced
before
back and
that
forth.
it was my rear end. I had to have a whole rear end replaced.
And didn't somebody hit you, or you had to swerve away and you
in
got
the
stuck?
car? Yeah, there was some jackass in a red Honda Civic and a white Toyota. I'm guessing the new Camrys, because it looks sporty and new or whatever. They were racing down Watt Avenue, and right before Elkhorn, there's this new little concrete curb thingy with a little railing thing in there, so you can't hop it and go over or whatever. But anyways, these guys were racing, and one was driving he thought he was a motorcycle, because he was just lane splitting down between the cars, in between the lanes, and literally I had to, kind of move over a little bit so that way he wouldn't hit me. And then I probably should have just, rammed him over to the side instead. But I moved over and my tire hit the little concrete curb thing, and I went boom and bam. And then my whole left driver's side tire is fucked.
Wow. So your insurance
One
company.
time.
Yeah, okay. So now it's the water pump and we got it replaced. Do we need to do a GoFundMe, or are we still okay? We'll save that for bigger things.
There's other things going on.
Okay.
There will be a couple GoFundMe.
Okay,
I'm just
because
saying.
we're not going to be GoFundMe whores. When we do a GoFundMe, it's going to be for a good cause,
for a good
right?
cause. And
Okay.
but no. I mean, life. There's been a lot going on in the last couple weeks. And
How's Grandma? I want to update every time we say Grandma. She's
doing fine. She was sick
but she's a
last
little
time.
better.
But she's doing.
Good.
She's healthy. She's fine.
Awesome.
She's still chasing after her little cat and
Nice.
doing grandma stuff.
Okay, that's wonderful. And stepdad, let's go through the family right now, because I want to talk about my mom in a minute. So stepdad's not doing good right now. He's sick.
No, he's fine.
He's good too.
No, it was my dad. My real dad, he was in the hospital.
Oh.
When you get old
Earth
folks,
father, okay.
When you get old folks, do not pick at things on your skin.
No.
Okay.
Oh no.
So he had an infection on his knee, and
Is he diabetic?
no.
So he picked his knee, and then it
But
ended up into.
he got infected, and then he went in, and they had to land. His knee turned into a boob. It looked like a boob. It swelled up so much, and so literally had it cut, and so he's dealing with that. But he's doing good.
Okay.
So let's talk about your family.
So my mom's birthday, she'll be 79 years old tomorrow. Shout outs to Alice. Whenever I talk about jumping down the rabbit hole, I'm inspired by her. She's the boss lady of my life, and she's going to be 79. But poor thing, we had plans tomorrow. We were taking her on a tour of one of the towns we lived in. I'm from Martinez, Cocoa County, Pacheco girl. And we were so this is the 70s and part of the early 80s. We lived in Martinez, and we were going to do that, but she's not feeling good. So her and stepdad, who we've made amends to, and we're doing good with John. He has not pissed me off, and I have not pissed him off in like 2 weeks now. So it's like good. We're back to our normal. And so she'll be 79 tomorrow, Mom, and I love you, and I know you won't listen to this. Let me tell you something funny. She is one of my followers on Talks with Shell. She likes everything and makes comments, but she's never listened to it. And I'm like, and this whole time I thought, wow, she's like that a girl, and all these little inspirational things. I'm thinking, wow, I was kind of hard on her this time. Like sometimes I talk about her during my walking, and I thought, wow, I was proud of her, but turns out she's never listened to any of it. She just looks at my face and thinks that she'll go, your makeup's pretty. And so it got me thinking that my mom, as long as I have if my hair's washed, or if it's not washed, she'll say you have pretty eyes. So she's pretty surface. So we're just like, that's where I got some of that outward stuff. But
Gotcha.
Happy birthday, Mom. Tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Mom.
79. I guess you
never
were
met
born
you.
in the 40s.
But happy birthday.
Yay! I hope to live to 79. Gosh, I told my kids recently.
This day and age,
82.
that's a pretty big bucket of win.
Yeah, it is. It is. And each one of my sons, no fire alarms this week. So, we're doing good. My oldest is going to be calling in when he gets, probably maybe I can get him on Friday, because he'll be in Klamath, but he got a cool job in Portland, Oregon, and I'm so happy that he got away from the one job. And proud of you, Dylan, and William's holding his own. He got a haircut, so my big old giant Willie, he doesn't have tall hair anymore. He's bald head, so that's how he does his hair. And Jesse, he was supposed to be here tonight. I was going to have him be one of our spontaneous guests, but maybe next time, he's going to be up in the neighborhood. So that's the report. All the grandkids. Oh, got to see Daisy, my youngest granddaughter, and she doesn't really know me, and it was okay. She, I didn't get all butthurt and make it about me. I just, she'll get to know who her grandma is someday. That's why I do this stuff, so you can, see me when I'm kind of still young, so that's it on the kid. Oh, and my husband, that cameraman over there, I've been kind of not mean to him, but I'm not as graceful to him lately. My fuse is really short. Like
she's mean.
So
as hell.
All he did today, let me just tell him myself. He had a headache and he took a nap, which is totally fine, right? And I decided to make soup to be a loving wife. But then when he comes in the kitchen, he irritated me just by existing. All he did was come in twice, Corey, and get a handful of nuts. And I'm just like, again, and then I just turned into this but I'm making him soup, So I'm like, I don't know. You never know with me. So I just want to throw it out there. I'm sorry, babe, I'll probably be mean to you before the end of the night again, but I just want to let you know in this moment.
How about you just don't?
Well, thanks for the warning, because normally I don't get a warning. I just get
right.
Godzilla.
So that's it. That's kind of my recap of my week. Besides having interesting, callers. Oh, one more thing. I just got invited. You know how I've been wanting to be a full-time recruiter with my job? Well, I didn't even tell Kevin this. Today I got invited, and we're having an in-person 200-person event next Thursday, and I've been invited to be part of the team. So that means I get to not be on the phones, drive into Sacramento, and be I get to do notes. There's going to be 2 presenters, and I'm taking the notes and setting up and basically being the, set up grunt person, but I get to be there. And it was approved by the chief of my department and my manager. And I was like blown away and so thrilled. So, we just got brighter. What happened? So I was happy.
Now they can see us better, Kev.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
Right. That was good. So that was fun for me. So all in all, if I'm going to rate my week, I think I had like an 80 out of 100. So I think it's been a good week. It's only Tuesday.
Well,
still time.
As to per something you said earlier pre-show, I would like to say that I am doing fantastic. Mental health check. You
said the happiest you've been in 3 years.
In about 3 years, yes.
Okay.
I am about the happiest I have been in a long time, and it has to do with some certain people in my life that are back in my life.
Let's talk about it.
And well, we're not going to really talk talk so much about it.
We don't need to
but
name
we're gonna
places or
talk about
things,
it.
but let's just talk around it.
I mean, it's just, you know, when you realize, when you feel like you've lost everything,
Yeah.
like I have. I mean, I know I haven't lost everything, but to me, it really has, with losing my grandfather, my mom.
There was huge changes
my
in the
dogs,
last 3 years.
My long-term relationship that I was in, and, you know, just the love and affection of people that I considered like my kids, and you know, some close friends that you know, when I was in one of my low points in my life, you know, that proved themselves not to be my friends, you know. And that's honestly when your true friends will like show their true colors, if they're going to be your friend or not, when you're at your lowest and they just turn their back on you. And you know what, you're gonna say fuck them, you know. It's like they're not worth it.
It's hard because when you're at that point and you're like, deep down you're like, I hope they're not going to be what I thought. Maybe your worst fear comes out when somebody that you relied on or were vulnerable with to be your true self is just like, hey, check it out.
You know, in my time on this planet, like, I've been through at least, I don't know, like 5 hurricanes, like, where my life's just like completely turned around and everything, and it's sad.
Yeah.
But it's also, you know, eye-opening when you realize people that at one point you guys called each other brothers because you guys had been living in a van together, you know, for months on end, or hanging out in the same house for years at end, and through all the adventures.
Just
and
keep doing that. I'm going to move my
friends.
chair closer. Don't mind me.
And, you know, it's just like you realize at one point you guys called each other brothers, but yet, you know, one of them dies and not a single person shows up at his funeral.
Yeah.
And it's just like eye-opening that, you know, there's a lot of selfish people out there that don't give a fuck about anything but what they care about.
I know, you're so busy that you couldn't just be in my little world for 2 hours. That's why I've never thrown myself a birthday party. I don't have enough ego if no one shows up.
Well, it's just like, you know, you think, like, at some point, somebody that you called your best friend.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've been through a bunch of shit together. You spent like 7 years together in the trenches and everything. And then they die. And you think the other 6 people that were in those trenches with you, you think they'd have the common decency to show up because, you know, their family cared about you too. You know, you know, there was like a bonding connection there. And you don't even show up to pay your respects. Like, it's just...
But do they just completely ghost, or do they have some lame-ass excuse?
Oh, no,
why?
nothing.
Nothing?
No,
That's even worse. It's like, tell me some bullshit.
It's like they don't even exist anymore.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's life. That's what happens.
Yeah.
People get wrapped up in their own shit and they don't care. And, you know, that has to go with a lot with, you know, stuff I want to talk about tonight, you know, like with parenting.
I think I talked to one of those people today and bought one of their band tickets, but anyways, go on.
Okay, that's not... I don't know. We'll see. But there's... you know, there's a lot going on in my life right now, and I'm not going to say people or who or what's going on, but it is a story that's close to home that, you know, somebody is self-harming themselves.
Okay.
And
that's some serious shit, so I'm going to put my serious hat on now, okay?
And they're doing it, you know, and it's hard to really, like, you know, I mean, okay, when something like this comes along, you have to take it serious. Even if there are signs that they're kind of like, you know, I mean, are you really doing this because you really want to hurt yourself, or you just want the attention side of it?
Right.
And it's so close to line that you have to at least play on the other side of that line and take it real no matter what. I mean, unless you completely find out, you know, oh, it was all for a show, like a sham.
But even for that, even for the attention, they're still deep down.
There's still some reason
struggling.
They're searching for that. Like, why are they going to that length to get this or whatever, like we talked about before. And it sucks because this person is a great person, and they, you know, have the whole world open to them, like they're young, and, you know, and because of whatever bullying or, you know, relationship that ended that does not call for you to hurt yourself.
No.
And if you're feeling like you need to hurt yourself or you have the urge to, then you need to reach out for help.
Yeah.
And you need to at least have enough trust in the people that are closest around you that if you're at that point, and no matter how angry you are at that person, like if you're fighting with that person, you should still reach out to them and tell them what's going on. Because if they are anything of a decent human being, they're going to stop what they're doing and make sure that they are, there for you to help you and take this serious, because you shouldn't have to bottle it up and hide it just because you feel you can't talk to this person at this moment. In life, when you want to do something so extreme, you should always reach out.
And what's the biological thing in there, just to get deeper in that? When, we're talking like there's different types of, there's people that do the eating disorders to hurt themselves, the cutting, the burning, there's something in there where there's some kind of weird release. That's why some people like
the
do
pain
the tattoos,
of
the pain release, where, whether it's going from extreme sexual behavior where it's like extreme bondage pain to, just the whole like slicing,
or
burning, pulling their hair, shaving, any of these things. There's some kind of endorphin release that happens where
I've been involved, like, okay, I'm gonna say that, like, I've been like if it was a relationship with like me and you, like a close personal friend to somebody that I've really cared about, and the other person was self-harming, and it's just so it hurts so much to know that they couldn't even come to me about this. And that's what people need to realize, that if someone shows any type of signs of depression or like something's not right, they don't seem their bubbly self, say, hey, what's going on, how are you, what's up? Give them an opportunity to talk. Like, stop thinking about yourself.
One of the things that I did, that I experienced, is when I'm healthy and if I trust somebody that's new in my life, I will, not everybody, there's only a couple people that I've done this with, I'll tell them, hey, there's going to come a time when I'm going to be sad. And this is typically my behavior when I'm sad. I'm either going to literally avoid you and ghost you, and I don't mean to, but that's one of my things I do. I either completely avoid you, or I won't do, my self-care will be over the top. Either I'll be extremely looking like I'm perfect, or I won't do anything at all. So in between that, and then other things where I'll start, I'm not a liar, but I'll make excuses, and I'll tell these people these behaviors just to say, hey, if you put me in check, I'm giving you permission to put me in check. Now, I might tell you to fuck off in that moment, but that's part of my mantra too. But if you can break through the wall that I put up, that I'm going to tell you ahead of time, I usually will be like, okay, and one of my kids told me a while ago, and I think I talked about this in the past, and he was actually on our show, where he said, hey, Mom, if I say I'm coming on Tuesday at 4 o'clock, if you call me that morning, don't give me an out. Just show up when I say, I mean what I say, and just show up and pick me up or whatever. But don't call me that day and say, are we still good? Because I'm always going to say, you know what? No, I'm not. I have a stomach ache, or I have this, and I'll just completely stop. And I kind of did that with you tonight, Corey, where I get tired.
She canceled on me
like twice, and then I'm like, but I said, oh, if you really want to, or we can do it Friday.
No, I'm coming up. I don't care.
And
I'm
then,
gonna do this.
Give me a thumbs up or whatever, and he did. He gave me a big thumb, but mostly I cancel on myself. I really want to do this, but for like 5 minutes out of the day, I'm extremely tired. And I'm like, I got nothing to give.
Yeah, but now that we're doing it in the middle of it, I bet you have enough energy right now.
I do.
I have till the end of the night.
I do. I'm on a lot of beverages though too. I'm like, I started a beer and forgot about it. I have a brand new one. I have water and coffee.
Yeah, so it's weird because for me, the beer would be like an instant. Oh, that's a sleeper.
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick commercial break here in a minute, but when we get back, I want to dive a little bit more into that.
Oh, I have a lot more to go into.
There's really interesting things that we want to talk about, and this is part of our journey. We're on a journey, and you're on it with us, and I'm so happy that this is number 10. I thought for sure when we got to number 10, we'd have, I don't know, like some go-go dancers or something, but no, it's just never 10. It's just double digits.
We'll get there.
We'll get there, right?
Just let it happen naturally, okay?
Right. So,
anyways, we're gonna play some commercials, and we'll be right back. But don't lose that train of thought, because we have a lot more hard-hitting things to talk about, and hopefully, within our journey of doing all this, we can end that stigma on a lot of things in working together with other people in their lives.
Okay, we'll be right back.
All right, folks, check out Encounters, the UFO Experience, interactive exhibition, DJ, nightclub, and museum. 871 Russell Boulevard, Davis, California. UFO sightings, abductions, artifacts, alien technology, movie props. Check out www.ufoexperience.com.
All right, we're back.
That was so cool of a break. I'm feeling, I'm ready.
Exercised.
Got a little commercials. You know what? Honestly,
because we got to pay the bills around here.
We do.
So we got to do commercials. So get the fuck over it.
We
do this for free. It's free entertainment. And
we have this Hellrzzr sponsoring us, but they haven't paid me lately. I need some new gear.
I thought you had a new gear. Didn't you have a purse being worked on or something?
I was going to go change my shirt before this segment started. Damn it! I had oh well. I was going to put my Hellrzzr shirt on. I forgot.
Okay. We got to jump back in.
Okay, let's just jump back. Let's get serious. I brought up some stuff,
Okay.
questions to ask people before you get into that. There's 5 helpful things for self-harming, and it says 5 things to ask people, and one of the ones the first question was, when I noticed some marks on your arms and I'm worried because I care about you. Are you hurting yourself? Like, I don't know, it's hard to jump into it,
you might just have a shithead cat. Just saying.
It says if you have a friend that has not told you that they are self-harming, but you have reason to believe that they're open with something simple as a straightforward describe what you've noticed, and make them think that there's a problem. Express your concerns and ask directly. You may be nervous to ask specifically if they're hurting themselves. You can try more open-ended questions, but if they volunteer the information, like what's going on, so I think you need to really kind of take the temperature of the room and just sometimes just be direct.
I think you need to pay the fuck attention also.
Yeah.
Like there's certain situations where parents are just fucking oblivious, and they don't, because they're so wrapped up in their own shit, they're not even really being parents and paying attention to the things that matter, like their children. Okay. And with that, I kind of want to open it up about parenting.
Yeah.
And these two things kind of go hand in hand. I mean, I have a few different stories here I'm talking about. I'm not going to out anybody or anything like that.
Sure.
But, parenting, now I know, I don't have any children, okay, that at least are from my loins, okay? But there are people that I have taken care of. There are people that, I have been parental figures to.
Yeah.
There are people that I have, and I still do watch out for.
Guess what? You had a good mom, and she parented you, and therefore it's in you. It's not, you have that to give. So.
And just not just raised by my mom, but my grandfather and everything. It's like seeing him and his, what he did for his family and made sure no one ever needed or wanted anything, and just been there, and it was a pillar. And loved everyone no matter what, okay? Right. I mean, even in my family, okay, I have a cousin who is gay, okay? And his family on his dad's side, so it was related to me by my aunt, and, that side of the family kind of were dickholes when he came out, Oh, really? And then everyone was worried about, my grandfather's going to, whatever. My grandfather didn't care. He loved his grandson.
You didn't
That's
care
all that mattered.
who he was doing the deed with, okay? He cared for him as a person.
Yeah, and that's what, parents need to realize. No matter what, once you have a child, your life isn't living for yourself anymore. No. It's living for them, to protect them, to be there for them, to guide them, to teach them, to love them unconditional. And the key word is unconditional, no matter fucking what. Now, if they turn out to be like Ted Bundy or something, yeah, I kind of get where it's like, okay, yeah, he's mine, but I mean, I tried hard, you know, I kind of don't want to own him up to it, but you still do, because you love them.
Right, and also when it says when you're a parent, it says, here's another one where it says too, I can see that you're in a lot of pain. Do you want to tell me something that's going on? And I think when you allude to being a good parent is also, like you said, being observant and give them that invite them to talk about what's causing the pain. And, you know.
And honestly, if you're a good parent, you should have that channel open
Yeah.
to where they know they can come talk to you about anything. And they don't feel judged. They don't feel like they're in trouble. They don't feel like you're going to disown them or ground them or, you know, you should already establish that within the first 10 years of their life when they're growing up.
Also, did you ever have, I don't know if your mom was of the age, because we were similar in age as far as the contract. When I was raising them, I made a contract with my boys in the 90s. I said, someday you're going to be older.
Legal?
Yeah. And someday you're going to be older and you're going to be in a situation and I don't care if you think that you can't call me. You call me anytime in the middle of the night. I made him sign it, you know, where it's like...
Yes, I know exactly what you like.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're at a party. This is happening. Come save me. So Uncle Buck me, you know.
And I'm not going to be mad. I'm going to be proud. I mean, we'll deal with the consequences in that moment,
hey, you know, you're at a party and somebody dies. It's like, okay, I'm coming out with the shovel. We're going to get rid of the body. But then, you know what? I always told, you know, some people that were close to me, I always said, hey, yes, I'll help you hide the body, and then I'll help you figure out a plan to get out of the country, but you know what, before we do that, you got to tell your mom, okay? And I was like, I'll be there, I'll try to stand in the way to deflect or whatever, but you know what, you got to at least be man enough or woman enough or adult enough to tell them what you did.
If you decided to go to a party or anywhere, it doesn't have to be a party, and you thought it was going south and you thought you could trust these people and you were afraid to call me or somebody that you thought was going to be disappointed, and it's like, no, I'm never going to be disappointed in you making the right decision to be safe, and just call no matter what.
Even then, if you made a bad decision and then, you know, you realize it later and there's no shame in making a wrong choice, because we all make wrong choices in life. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. And it's sad that we have to go through the negative side of that, making the wrong choice, and live with the consequences. But that's how you grow and become a better person. And if you don't recognize that and you're not there for them in that moment, go fuck yourselves. Right. You don't have the right to be called a parent.
See, for me with my daughter, I always told her, no matter what, you can come to me. And you know, one of my things, you know, that I tried to put through was something that my mother put through to me. You know, she said one time, she looked at me and she said, did you know that you can rent the presidential suite at the Mark Hopkins Hotel and that would be cheaper than a DUI? And so for me, you know, I always told my daughter, look, you know, before you think about driving drunk or doing something like that and making that choice, give me a call, and if I can't come and get you, I'll have someone come and get you, or I'll taxi you to a hotel room and I'll pay for it.
This was before Uber.
Yeah, but nowadays you just use Uber or Lyft. But the same thing. I have told many, you know, regardless if it's a friend's child that, you know, like I said, you know, big brother, little brother, whatever you want to call it, you know, situation, like no matter what, call me. Like, I'm not going to, you know, be disappointed in you, maybe, but like never will I be upset or angry or, you know, maybe a little disappointment, you know, but, you know, it happens. I understand that. You're not going to do everything that's always going to make parentals or the people above you happy all the time, but especially when it comes down to just you being you.
Yep.
Okay? And then another little situation, different side story here that I want to kind of talk about. And as a parent in that situation, I hope you go fuck yourself. And I hope someday you see this and realize who I'm talking about and what's going on. Because I would happily beat the shit out of you for being this disrespectful, this derogatory and much of an asshole toward your own flesh and blood when somebody came home with a piercing and you say, oh, why would you do that? You used to be so pretty. Now you're just ugly.
Yeah, that's not good. You know, one of the things I was reading about this, it was like, you know, I will do anything I can, but I can't help you alone. Can we get some support? You know, and as far as coming home and, you know, as far as piercings or body changes, I remember getting a tattoo that I regretted when I was 16, and I didn't show my mom. She didn't see it for like a year. I hid it from her. It was on my stomach, and then one day I was like, oh, I have a stomach ache, and I lifted my shirt on, my tummy ache, and there it was, you know, and she's like, oh my God, you know, and I just think that I wish I would have been closer to share different things during that time, because I actually did regret that. But as far as saying, she didn't say I looked ugly. She was just like, oh, because she wasn't in the culture of tattoos, you know, in the piercings now.
And the difference with a piercing to a tattoo, a piercing can heal up.
Yeah.
You can take it out.
Yeah.
A tattoo, you'd have to go get surgically removed or covered up with a different tattoo.
It was actually the placement of it. She's like, oh, well, you know, you're going to have kids someday. And she was right. You know, she's like, I think she would have been better with me having it on my leg versus like on my stomach, you know. But back to saying you're ugly.
So you got a tattoo of Elvis, and then later he became Fat Elvis?
Oh, my God, it was a rose, but it was so huge. It was like, you know. But anyways, I've had it recolored a few times. But we're old now. Who cares, right? It's just inside of a fat roll right now. But it's under the fupa now, so who cares?
Your own flesh and blood.
Yeah, you don't say that.
Your son, your daughter, whatever.
You don't say that.
You never, ever talk down to them.
No.
Ever. Like, no matter what you disagree on. You don't say crap like that to somebody that you're supposedly
not to their
love,
face.
And you're not even supposed to...
Not seriously, not to their face. If you felt that, if you were in this box and you felt that piercing, and some of these piercings are outrageous, but if you thought a piercing was so whatever, you don't say that to your son or daughter in that moment. If you felt like, oh God, I have to share it with my best friend and I can't share, you know, like, oh, I don't know how to handle this
Regardless,
piercing.
you're still a piece of shit.
You know, you can talk privately on the side to say, I don't understand the piercing. I don't, you know, but you never say it to the person saying that image. And then work it out. Maybe you like it later, but let's face it. We all have we come from our own place. I'm going to play devil's advocate on this person that's a piece of shit, right? They were wrong to say it to their child. They were wrong to that. But if they were so afraid of it and so not understanding the culture of piercings now, you know, and it's not like it's the 50s where it was something, you know, this is like
really nothing taboo anymore.
No, it's not taboo.
Like,
so
tattoos and piercings are accepted in the workforce.
Yeah,
everywhere. Even high law firm lawyers
right.
fucking have neck tattoos and tattoos all over.
Yeah, so I would understand from my mom's generation and your mom, you know, like 79, 80 years old, okay, maybe they don't get it. So maybe have a buffer on your emotional outbursts and just like have some restraint.
Oh,
you know,
the person's just a child. Like,
yeah. You know, and so it's like, okay, so that's not cool. So hopefully you're in a situation where you're counterbalancing the negative, right? You're bringing the light into this person's life right now, and you have been for many years. And I'm really happy you have that opportunity. And but know this. There's going to become a time as any parent, whether you're a foster parent, a step parent, adopted parent, you're a parent figure, a father figure in these people's lives.
Big brother, uncle, whatever.
You're going to fuck up too.
I know.
You know, and so you know.
I'm not perfect.
Right.
All right. Don't.
You're going to misunderstand
as
a situation, and then but the difference is that I truly believe, Corey, a good parent will recognize it once they call it out. If you have an open relationship with your child or adult child, because I'm trying to parent adult children right now, where they're helping me. Hey, mom, that was kind of out of pocket. And I can't be like, no, it wasn't. I have to go, oh, it was. And I do an inventory of myself and go, I'll get back to you on that. And if I don't recognize it right away, I'll say, you know what, you're right. I'm sorry.
See, at least you're open-minded to that. Because other parents out there, all they care about is themselves. They only want to... It's
that's
like,
narcissistic.
Narcissism is the key word. Very narcissistic. Very... I don't give a fuck about anything. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna go on vacations. I'm gonna leave family home. I'm gonna fucking, go live my life and party it up like a rock star in my 40s, even though, your kids might be 18 or...
It happens in adult relationships,
19,
even older.
13, 16, whatever. they still have a lot of growing up to do. They still need their parents.
I still need my parent. I'm fortunate to still have my mom alive. I have a friend, and Kelly's going to be one of our people that calls in. She's the person that she's going through her master's degree right now to be a certified counselor. So, you know, and one of her topics lately, her big struggle is codependency. And so she's kind of one of my, you know, people that I'm doing this journey with, and we're teaching each other. She shared a story about being a narcissist. I guess there was a movie or something. She shared it with her father. Her father's the narcissist. But she didn't say, Dad, you're a narcissist. She shared it to him, and his first reaction was, God, your mom is such a narcissist. And then he just starts saying how she ruined his life and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, my God, Michelle, what do I do about this? And I said, well, use an example of yourself and go, you know, when I have a problem with someone, if I think they're irritating me for a behavior, 9 times out of 10, it's my behavior that's blowing out. So I said, bring it back to yourself, and maybe you can teach your dad. But it was interesting that she was trying to say you're a narcissist, Dad, but she wasn't brave enough to say. I mean, who wants to hear that shit? And he blamed it on the mom.
A lot of times the person accusing is the one that actually has the problem.
Yeah, especially the one that says you're cheating, and he's the one cheating, or she's the one cheating, and they're like,
most people, when they're really that insecure, is because they're out there doing the same thing.
Exactly.
And, or, you know, eat 10 times bigger. And, you know, that's a whole other story, which we can talk about that stuff later.
Yeah, it's ongoing on.
You know, like I said, I've made mistakes in my life. I'm man enough to admit it. There is nothing that I have done in my life or past that I would say, you know, I didn't fuck up on. I'm not saying I'm the perfect person. I've made plenty of mistakes, but I recognize all my mistakes. I recognize the things I've done.
Eventually.
And you know, I'm like, my bad.
If you learn by the mistake, then it did its job.
So one of the things I want to point out with this, because I'm not affected by this, I mean, I'm not entwined with your story, I'm just watching it. I'm like, I wanted Corey to tell it to me. We like to do stuff spontaneous live so we get an honest reaction. Is your job now is to take a step back and have emotional maturity around how you don't want to talk shit about that other parent in that way.
No, and that's the thing too, is I've even talked to that person that I'm like, you know, ultimately I was like, hey, they got a business, I'll help promote it, you know, I can come up with ideas and help these different things, even though this person that, you know, ultimately would be love, you know, maybe punch in the face someday, but you know, I'm not like that, like,
no.
I'm actually a lot more calm than I used to be. Like I've talked about before, I'm actually holding back on a lot of the rants and stuff I want to do like I used to do, and I realize it's just not. What's the point in it?
Plus the energy level, it's exhausting. You know, we're getting older, burning our T cells.
And I got a lot more energy to put off into my companies, into my friends, and the things that I can control in my life right now, than all the crap that's I can't control right now. And you know, it's like, I just want to focus on getting everything I can in order for the people I care about, to help them out and go on further. Because to me, one thing I realize, it's like, this is why I want to have a family. This is why I would love to find my Mrs. Right and then maybe have a kid or whatever.
Right.
It's about that next generation. It's like, what are you leaving behind? It's about what your legacy, whatever. I'm not even call it a legacy, whatever. It's about the next generation of people that are going to be coming
it is a legacy.
along.
It is a legacy, and it's important because when we were younger, we had these old timers, and our old timers are dying off. We are in that. I used to think I was middle aged. You're actually, you know, you're in your late 30s, and you are middle aged.
Why you got to say it on air?
Because I'm 54, and I'm not going to live till I'm 108.
I'm 37.
Okay? So you are literally.
But I've told I look like I'm 27.
Yeah. You know, you do. Actually, once you trimmed your hair and trimmed your beard up, you actually lost a few years.
I killed Santa since the last episode.
That's right.
Santa is dead. I went through the declassification or desanification process.
Process.
Tim Allen, you know, I know what you're feeling, dog. And, you know, come November next year for the Fragile Toy Drive, Santa will be back.
Yep, you'll just grow it back, and you know.
And it'll probably be more white then too.
It might
legitimate white.
Right, naturally. So I finally got to the Zoom. I didn't know. I'm like, what did I do?
You got to just. Two fingers,
I had no idea.
And then ooh.
Oh my God! I accidentally did it.
You gotta, you know, like I'm just gonna go like this. You know, I think people out there know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So it's about changes and growing and stuff like that. So, so you were a good example. You're sharing here, but I think the person that you were affected, or people, I would say, I think that you're showing them stability right now, and your word, it means, your word is the gospel, right? And you're not just saying, you're not farting your words, and you're not saying, oh, I'm going to do this for you, and blah, blah, blah. You're actually doing it. You're saying, oh, you want to do ABC? Check it out. I know I'm going to open up my Rolodex of resources, and
let's get A done, let's get B done, then we'll get C done.
And this person is literally seeing it in real time that it's happening. You're like, what do you mean? Oh, you want to do this? Well, I don't know if you can, but I know these 3 people that did it before in their life, and so check it out. And it's kind of nice to see real-time results, a little bit of hope.
And the thing that pisses me the fuck off the most is the fact that the people that get hurt by these shitheads are just like the most awesome, coolest person ever. That, like, it's just like you meet this person, you're like, oh, you need some, oh, here, I'll do that, I'll help you out. And like, it's like you want to help these people because they're the genuinest and the most real and not fake and not, narcissistic, not full of themselves, not just out to get whatever they can and fuck over anyone else. The kindest people ever. And
innocent too.
They're completely innocent, and they're just dealt this hand that they have these fucking losers in their life. You can't help
what you were born into sometimes, but you can definitely
just filled with negativity, and it's just like
wasted talent. I feel like you have an opportunity with and not just this situation, but I think
there's a lot of people like
the next generation
that I know that either have come and lived with me for months at a time because of crappy situations at home, and I'm like, dude, you need a safe place to be. My door is always open. Like, I don't just open my door to anybody. It's like, if I see that you're that type of person and in a good kid or whatever's going on in your life,
not just kid, adults. I had an adult last week. I had a friend that was had a real bad hardship. I've known this person since I was 14 years old, and she just found herself on one bad choice after another led her to this situation where we needed to help her, and
needed a place to crash for a few.
We had to help her get her shit because these people were holding it hostage, and so we took our truck and car and standby sheriff and everything because these people were being petty with her belongings, and we got it all out. Her whole life is in my garage right now. She took a truckload to where she's living now, and she's going to pick up the rest on Saturday or next week, whenever she wants. And she had a soft place to land, and
that's all that some people need sometimes.
And she kept thanking me and crying, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I would hope you would have done that for me,
Yeah, if the situations were reversed and you're the one with the nice house and stability and everything, and you have the means to help out, do it.
Yep.
Like, because you don't realize that if you just give, one home-cooked meal and let someone take a shower and crash on your couch for the night, like, it could turn their mentality around and get out there and get that big job. And, next thing you know, they're living in, like, a 10-bedroom house or something, You don't know the bounds that people can change just by like a single act of kindness.
Well, the things that you do when you give the we're going to be doing it soon. When you give the purses and backpacks
Bag of
and
Life,
stuff.
yes.
Bag of Life,
fact,
right?
Facebook, we're going to be posting about it this next week, actually.
Okay, good. So Bag of Life changes lives. I think I told the story before, but I'm going to share it real quick.
Change a life, give a Bag of Life.
My towels got stolen many years ago in the laundromat. They were all the towels I owned. I had like 10 towels, and it was for my 3 boys and my husband at the time, so 5 people, and we each had a towels, right? So there was 10 towels. And someone took the whole load, and I remember going somewhere and sharing, like, I can't fucking believe I literally have no towels for my kids, and I had no money to buy new towels. And by the end of the night, this person knew a person, and they just dropped towels off at and they were used, but they were way better than the ones that got stolen. They were like, they had quality. And I was like, what? And I just was so humbled and so happy.
They were JCPenney's towels, right, as opposed to, Kmart.
Mine were all bleached towels out, but they were my towels, floor towels. But, just a little generous, kind act of kindness right there was life-changing, because my kids that night got to take a bath with towels because I didn't have any. and I didn't have the money, and so stuff like that, I'm glad that we're starting that next week. We'll talk after line about advertising that and starting to gather stuff. So
yes, so if you want to help out with getting toiletries, anything for females that they might need, start picking up
biological
stuff.
females, not if you identify one, or we don't care. Is that?
We're not gonna fact check, okay, whatever's going on down there.
Hey,
all
if
right?
you want to put the tampon in your buoy hole instead of your vajayjay hole, we're not going to, whatever.
Just shell dropping now. Okay, if whoever comes in, we're not even going to be there when the bags are handed out, so you won't even know. So just relax.
Okay, all right, okay. I'm still working on being, open.
She's still working on it, but she's coming around the mountain. All right.
Conceived in chaos.
Just she's an old timer.
Bag of life. Okay, so we are going to be collecting some stuff, and when he does the Facebook post, he'll have a list of actual generic needs, from razors to soaps to washcloths to whatever is in that
Kleenex
list.
to tampons to
all that stuff.
body soaps and whatever.
Yeah.
But back to my other story that I first kind of started out with. Asking for help. All right. Don't be afraid to. Like, that's just the stigma of you want to feel normal. You are normal. Like, the normal is no such thing. Like, there is no real definition of normal. Everyone is fucked up, okay? And just because you're feeling a certain way and you're feeling alone, you're feeling lost, or you're being bullied, okay? Yeah. And if you're being bullied, you need to definitely stand up and talk and mention
to
it.
somebody. Even if it's on a telephone hotline.
Which you can reach out to 988. Okay. You can dial 988. You can do the, lifeline.org.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You just go 988 and what happens?
It's the crisis lifeline.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you could just talk to somebody.
Not 61. I mean, you can call 611 too. I mean, the operator will answer and say, "Hey, what do you need for one?"
Eventually. What service do you need for the county? We won't, but yeah. Okay, so then also, what about for us? Okay, people that are listening to this, do we have a telephone number?
910-666-9965.
Okay, and you can write us, and you can just tell us, your story, and if it's we can find you somebody.
If you're 10 years old and for some reason you're watching us, I mean, all the way up to if you
have awesome
75,
parents.
If you're 75 years old and you're watching us or listening, like, we don't care.
No.
If somebody needs a lifeline or to reach out, Hellrzzr, be loud and be heard is the best tagline ever, because it reaches out in so many different avenues and parameters of life that we all just need to have that assistance and be heard and have what we say validated, because we're just bottling up all our emotions, and then, stuff doesn't really work out that great. I mean, you can also reach out to 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. And there are people out there that will listen. I mean, you can reach out to mental health hotlines all over the place. BetterHelp.com. You can go to InformationVine.com and find out about getting help.
One of the things that when I was talking about this list earlier, I just scrolled down and was like, here's some things don't say, okay? When someone finally does come to you and reaches out for help, don't say stuff like, especially the self-harm people, can I see your scars?
Hey, make sure to go down the street instead of across.
And then stuff like,
don't say that, because we know someone that does.
And then if they tell you their story, and it's like, you're like, shit, my story is way worse than you. Don't say things aren't that bad. They're not that bad. You're fine.
Okay. Parents, listen up, because there's a couple on my mind right now. I don't know if they listen, highly doubt it. But when your kid starts talking about what's going on in their life and what's wrong, don't come back with, do you want to know what I go through?
Right.
Do you want to know what I have to deal with?
No, don't one-up them.
It's not your fucking problem. It's their problem.
Yes.
Okay? Whatever you think is minuscule or trivial, it's not trivial to them.
No.
There's something else there. There's something else brewing. There's something else festering that is underneath the surface that they're afraid to come out and talk about. For you to sit there and ridicule them and say, oh, you know what I have to deal with? Go to work and blah, 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 pay bills, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's great. You have issues too, but they don't have to deal with that. They are not your source of venting to. They are not your source. Why are you putting your problems on top of their problems?
Yep.
Is all you're doing. And that is not something a parent or a protector should ever do.
One of the also things that says, if you don't stop, I can't be your friend anymore. Do not give your friend any kind of ultimatum. Quitting self-harm requires more than just willpower. Explain. And then NAMI is the National Association for Mental Illness. There's a decent chance that that issuing an ultimatum will actually make things worse. Okay, and so if it's something that you can't handle personally, go ahead and write your little journal and step aside, but don't necessarily put that ultimatum. You can give them options. NAMI right there.
NAMI, that's what it was.
Yeah, and I used to be a part of that. You know, that's another good organization where...
Yeah, NAMI, NAMI.org, National Alliance on Mental Illness.
Yep, because the prospect of losing their friend is really scary. If they came to you and you're like, hey, you know what? If you cut yourself or burn yourself or do one more piercing on your face, I'm not going to be your parent, or I'm not going to deal with you anymore. You know what some of them might do? They might just tattoo their whole face or something. They're going to show you, right, or whatever. And it's like, you don't want to...
They're going to one-up it.
They're going to definitely one-up it.
And even at that point, I just want to say real quick that when it says mental illness, do not take that something's wrong with you because you have an illness or mental, when dealing with mental health. It's not a defect. It's not like something's, horribly wrong with you that you're damaged forever.
Well, illness means you can treat it. Okay, so when they say illness, just like anything from diabetes, the mental illness, it's invisible. You can't see it, right? If you cut your finger and it's bleeding, we can stop the blood and we put a Band-Aid on it and that'll stop. But when they see it, it's just a treatable thing, and sometimes it's treated with medication, sometimes it's treated with therapy.
Just talking to people,
talking about it. It depends. We're not doctors. Everyone has their own treatment plan.
And no one in here is ever alone on anything they do. Like, I'm realizing I'm going through therapy on my own, and I have been dealing a lot with my own demons and everything I've been going through with the loss and everything I've been going through, that I'm alone. And a lot lately I have been realizing I'm not alone.
No. You have alone times. There's times when we're lonely. I mean, I can be lonely in a room full of people. I could be around people and they're smiling and they want to hang out with me, and I'm just like, the best I can do is I showed up today,
But
and
when I'm at my lowest, I can reach out to my brother, and if you're listening, you know who you are, who I'm talking about. I wear his colors all day long, every day of my life, and that, he is a true good friend, and I can vent, I can lose my shit, and either he's gonna just let me go off the rails and then say, hey, what good does that do, or say, hey, all right, how can we fix this? And I have partners in my life, business partners, good friends, that when my truck goes down, we're working on it, getting it done so I can get back to work. Best friends since I was the age of 15 in my life.
That's good.
We have gone through so much shit that he's still in the seat right next to me every day. And, no matter what goes on, we're going to fucking power through it and figure it out. I got my family right next to me, Shell and Kev, that, if I truly needed something, they're there. And it's been hard for me to really open up and accept this because it's still not my family. It's not my mom. It's not my grandfather. Right. It's not people that I've always had in my corner since I was born. And that's the thing, is like, no matter what, as a parent, you should always be in your kid's corner, no matter who they're fighting or what the fight is for. No matter what, you are there to make sure they will stand victorious and not alone if they're defeated. Like, no matter what happens, you're supposed to have their back.
So I sent this, I have this group text with my sons, and I got this off somebody's page the other day. It says, I hope one day my children will tell this story. Our mom messed up a lot. She lost her temper. Sometimes she said a few choice words. She forgot things. She misses things. She was a mediocre cook, and our house was often a mess. But she was quick to apologize. She forgave easily too. Every day she was proud to be our mom. She showed up for us. She kept trying. Our house was full of fun and laughter. She wasn't perfect, but we never for a moment doubted her love. And I think that whether it's a mom or a dad, in your case a dad, and I think that if we all think about that and try to provide that environment, and of course, one of them responded, and was like, yeah, and there's times when we forget, and I think that if we could just keep it. I always wanted to be the parent that I didn't have, and to my mom, I know you did the best you could because you're better than what your mom offered, and your mom offered shit, okay? And you parented me at different seasons of my life, and I feel like your mom is still here. I mean, wasn't her name Michelle or middle? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I think it's very ironic that, my name's Michelle, and, I don't look to you as a son. I look to you more like, I feel like I'm like your older auntie or something like that, but, because we're too close in age. Actually, I could have had Corey at 14, because I did, that was one of my stories,
Hey, you keep going down that road. I'm going to start asking for an allowance.
We
I want that back pay.
You did get socks for Christmas and chonies, and so that's what we do with the boys around here.
Yes, that's true.
So you are part of that.
I still wear those socks.
Now, Kevin's
today.
old enough because he has a 37-year-old, so he could have been your dad because he's 3 years older than me. But we're kind of winding down.
Why are you outing everyone in their age tonight?
I just want everyone to know because put the face of this this generation. Because when I was younger, being in your 50s was done old. If you look at some of the 70s shows and stuff, I'm like, that person was 45 or even 37. You were like an old, we're younger now. I feel like we've evolved into this, younger thing. And if we don't screw ourselves up, like, hey, can we end on a different note? Did you watch the Grammys? Holy shit, what happened to Madonna's face? I mean, I'm going to be a bully right now, but I mean, I'm telling you, God dang. So
one too many plastic surgeries,
I guess, so
or it was the tribute to Satan.
I wasn't even gonna go there, but yeah, that's a whole nother thing. We're gonna put a pin in that because when I talk next time, maybe on Friday,
I want to talk about Madonna.
Oh no, we're gonna talk about just the world and what's happening.
A lot of people like to call me Madonna because my last name is Modena.
Modena. Oh, but I always think of that movie, something Modena. What's that? Ooh, we got a timer going on. We're going to try to keep it with an hour, but, we're going to be back possibly on Friday to do another one, and we're going to continue to dive in.
This stuff will still be spilt over, and there's still a couple things, I need to talk about.
There's a bunch of questions I wanted to throw out. We're not answering them yet, but I'm just going to say it real quick. Do you take better care of other people than yourself? Do you obsess about other people? Do you know what other people feel, think, and dislike? Do you feel responsible for other people's choices? And these are just a bunch of questions about being codependent. And being codependent kind of rolls into being bullied, because the person that's being bullied is probably they have low self-esteem because they don't have a voice, they feel like. And I think once the person you were referring to, as she and he grows up, they will have a voice because you're going to teach them through you, that your voice is important, it matters, it's valid. And I'm just proud of you that you've grown in this last few years and you're giving opportunities for yourself to have this kind of love, and it's pretty amazing.
I'm trying, but I don't know, like I said at the beginning, it kind of, the whole point of this whole handing down the next generation of everything, is to pave the way for, the next generation and help them out and teach them and show them and to be there for them. Because I know me and my friends running around at 14, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, we went through hell. And some of us lost our parents even younger than I did. Yeah. And had really went through the ringer with parents that beat us, or parents that literally just kicked us out, didn't give a fuck, they wanted to do drugs, or parents that, you know, just didn't even pay attention to what's going on. And, you know, luckily most of us are still here. We lost some friends because none of us didn't pay attention close enough to see what was going on at their house.
Pain is temporary, Corey, and that's one of the things we can tell the young people today. I know that you might be feeling that this is an impossible task and nobody understands, but I can guarantee you this in life, it will pass. And I know that's hard to believe right now, but it will pass, and you'll be able to look back and go, wow, I survived that. So I just feel like this is good stuff. You know, this is
and
good
number
opportunities.
one thing real quick is that's bullshit. Everyone, at least, like, has been through something in their life. So people do know what you're going through.
Yeah.
Like, you may not think, like, I don't maybe Show hasn't, but
Right.
Kev has, for sure.
Exactly.
Like,
Somebody
in a room
has.
of 5 people, 2 out of those 5, I bet, I don't know, real statistics, look it up, Google, whatever, literally have gone through one of the things you're going through.
1 out of 5 people in a room has had an STD in their lifetime. 1 out of 5
that
people
was not me.
has had an abortion, or has
That was
had,
also not
you know,
me.
been raped or something like that. One of us has had one, either knew or has had it experienced
have.
personally. Okay, and so, you know, you just have to be brave enough to say it. And
does it count if I just woke up and she was on top of me and then I got into it too after I woke up?
that's another topic. We're going to talk
we'll
about
talk about that later.
You know, so, but you know what, Corey, I think that we're, you know, going to just keep doing this. So maybe I'll see you, you know, in a couple days, you know.
Well,
Who knows?
hopefully we'll be back. Same distorted time, same reality channel.
Yeah, that's good. All right, yeah. Let's high five that one. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye. Here, you want a candy?
No, I'm good. I
that's
just
right.
started that diet.
Oh, that's right. We didn't talk about
I'm
that.
too fat.